Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. Today is Monday, May 3rd. I'm Stephanie Haney. Thanks for being here for the top stories of WKYC.com and our WKYC app. And yes, this is the first edition of 3 News Now for May of 2021. Time is absolutely flying, and that warm weather is right around the corner after a beautiful weekend. We've got quite the mix of top stories from WKYC.com today. First off, this story is absolutely wild. 2 Cleveland area men are being released after being imprisoned for 15 years after their convictions were overturned by an appeals court here in Ohio. This is thanks to work from the Ohio Innocence Project and the Ohio Public Defender Commission's Wrongful Convictions Project. The 2 men are Michael Sutton and Kenny Phillips. Now, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals here in Ohio determined that they were denied a fair trial after 2 police officers offered statements that contradicted court testimony from other officers, and that information was never shared with these 2 men's defense attorneys. Now, they were just teenagers at the time. Here's what happened. Sutton and Phillips were both 17 years old when they say they heard gunshots coming from a car as they were driving around town. They pulled over when they saw a police car coming up behind them very quickly, and they thought the officers were going to pursue the other car, but instead, the cops arrested the teens. Now, 2 officers testified that the shots came from the teenager's car and that one of the teens fired shots at the officers during a chase on foot outside of the cars. A Cuyahoga County jury found them guilty in 2006 of charges including attempted murder of a police officer. Sutton was sentenced to more than 40 years in prison, and Phillips, who was the accused shooter, got a sentence of 61 years in prison. But attorneys from the Ohio Innocence Project and the Wrongful Conviction Project argued there was absolutely no physical evidence that Sutton and Phillips were guilty of these crimes. Joanna Sanchez, who was attorney for the Wrongful Conviction Project, said that there were no guns, no bullets, no casings, and that they were arrested improperly. And also, what they came to learn in 2015 was that the 2 other police officers on the scene on the night of the crime had very different accounts and essentially, this is a quote from her, exonerated Kenny and Michael. Sanchez talked about the racial disparity in our criminal justice system, and she said this: young black males are wrongfully convicted at disproportionate rates, and that appears to be what happened here. Now, Phillips, who is 32 years old, missed seeing his 3 daughters grow up, and Sutton never got to attend the University of Akron after being accepted. Donald Castor, who is an attorney for the Ohio Innocence Project, said that the Court of Appeals called their trial a travesty of justice. So they've now planning to be released on a $50,000 bond, and the prosecutor's office here in Cuyahoga County is still waiting to determine whether they will try the case again. The convictions have been overturned and they've been granted a new trial. That doesn't necessarily mean there will be a new trial. The prosecutor's office could determine that they will not try the case again. They are waiting on that decision. Absolutely wild. Now today, from Governor Mike DeWine's press conference, we are getting more information about what will happen for fully vaccinated people in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. They will actually be exempt from required routine testing, and employees that are not fully vaccinated will still be required to test twice per week. Also happening today, Cleveland City Council is considering asking the Department of Justice to reopen an investigation into the shooting death of Tamir Rice. We'll have more information on that on WKYC.com. Tomorrow is our May 4th primary and special election here in Ohio. Several Northeast Ohio school districts will have levies on the ballot. That includes Parma, North Olmsted, Rocky River, Kirtland, and Madison. Your sample ballot is linked at WKYC.com. Now, there are 28 counties that don't have any voting happening in this election. That information also on WKYC.com. Now, this is important. This is not the election to fill Ohio's 11th congressional district seat. There are several people who are seeking that seat, formerly held by former Representative Marcia Fudge, who is now the Housing and Urban Development Secretary in President Joe Biden's administration. That election will be Tuesday, August 3rd, okay? So for that special election, though, that special primary election happening tomorrow, May 4th, you can vote in person at your County Board of Elections at your polling location, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. at your polling location. You can vote in person during those hours. And we've got a link on WKYC.com for you to see where that is. Other information out of Governor DeWine's press conference this afternoon, shouting out how local health departments are helping to get the vaccine effort out. In Clark County, they purchased a box truck for $1 at a federal auction, and they'll be using that as a mobile unit to take vaccines into neighborhoods. In Cincinnati, the health department is going to libraries to offer vaccines, and they're holding block party type vaccination events. Just a couple of the things that are happening across the state as Ohio works to get more people vaccinated. More on those numbers in just a minute, but let's take a look at our COVID-19 numbers at the global and the national level. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. Globally, there have been 153,036,530 reported cases of COVID-19. There have been 3,205,632 reported deaths. We have 4% of the global population here in the U.S., the most cases, the most deaths, but those percentages are continuing to move down. We have 21.2% of the cases, that number, 32,435,199. We also have 18% of the global deaths. Now, both of those numbers, by the way, down 0.2 of a percentage point from Friday. The total number of deaths in the U.S. is 577,172,000. Now we get to the Ohio numbers, new from the Ohio Department of Health. We do know that Ohio hasn't seen any deaths in the last day due to COVID-19. That also comes from Governor DeWine. As we know, they have changed the reporting of the deaths, but we do have that information today. And we've seen 985 new cases reported in the last day. This is the first time that we've seen that number under 1,000 in quite a while, so that's a bit of good news. Although it is a Monday, so we do usually see a little bit of a lower number on a Monday, but still below $1,000. So below 1,000 new cases. So we'll celebrate that right now. We've seen 64 new hospitalizations in the last day. That's also a considerable drop from Friday. Right now, there are 1,095 people in the hospital being treated for COVID. 321 of those people are being treated in the ICU, and we've seen 12 new ICU admissions in the last day. Right now, looking at the vaccination picture, more than 33% of Ohioans are completely vaccinated. That's more than 3.8 million people, a little over 9,000 people in the last day getting that full vaccination status. Just over 40% of Ohioans have started the vaccination process. That's more than 4.7 million people and almost 6,000 in the last day. Now, that is a relatively low number in terms of what we've been seeing for vaccinations, which might be why Governor DeWine announced today during his press conference that the tribe is actually offering discounts on tickets for people who have been vaccinated. You can get $5 off regular priced upper box and upper reserved tickets if you've had at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. We've got more on that on WKYC.com. Now, if you are familiar with Emmy-winning actor, producer, best-selling author Patricia Heaton, who is a Bay Village native, you'll be interested to know what she's working on right now. She has a new charity product, and she talked with our Marine Kyle about it. It's with World Vision. That's a charity that helps provide clean water to more than 100 countries and helps communities create sustained infrastructure and jobs. So Patricia designed a necklace with local artisans for this charity project. And if you donate $100, you can get this necklace. It's called the Unity Tassel Necklace. It is a Grazy Druzy stone. It's got a 2-inch silk tassel and a starburst charm. It's very beautiful. There's a link to it on WKYC.com. And when you donate $100, that helps people rebuild in the wake of disasters and helps communities lift themselves out of poverty. We've got more on that on WKYC.com. Now, we know this weekend was a big weekend here in Cleveland. It was the 2021 NFL Draft. The Cleveland Browns ended up drafting 8 people total in this draft. So we're going to take a look at the offensive players that they picked up. With the number 91 overall pick, they got Anthony Schwartz, a wide receiver out of Auburn. He is a fast person, and sports analysts are saying he's a good size for the position. James Hudon, an offensive tackle out of Cincinnati, and then that was with the 110 overall pick. And with the 211th overall pick, Demetric Felton, a running back and wide receiver out of UCLA. Analysts say that he can play in the backfield or the slot and also contribute on special teams as a kick returner. If you want to see the Browns' offensive depth chart, you can take a look at that from our 3 News Sports analyst on WKYC.com. That's from Ben Axelrod. A lot of people asking, though, after this weekend, What's up with the lakefront here in Cleveland? People are ready to see the Lake Erie shoreline developed here. Our Will Ewick did a great piece on that. He talked with Dick Pace, who's president of the Cumberland Development Organization, and he said that everything's primed for a downtown Cleveland lakefront development. This is the person who had a hand in developing Nuevo Modern Mexican and Tequila Bar. That's right on the lakefront there in the North Coast Harbor behind the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he also had development rights to the 20 acres just north of First Energy Stadium and was preparing to break ground last year. That's what he told us. But Mayor Frank Jackson had a change of heart, wouldn't okay the building permit. Now, Pace says there's no reason for it to be on hold, but the mayor just doesn't want it to happen right now. Now, the mayor's office didn't return a request for comment, but City Council President Kevin Kelly did say that what the city is looking for is a grand vision that provides public access to the lake, housing opportunities, and green space, and they don't want to piecemeal development of that lakefront area. They want to do it all together. Now, Pace disagrees with that. He says waiting for the perfect plan to come is not a great plan and the city is missing out, and that every plan more or less involves that mixed use kind of development. Green space, living, working, and playing. We'll see what happens, but it does seem like the people of Cleveland are definitely ready for that lakefront to be developed. It was great to see that stage, the concerts happening right there. What a great use of space that would be. Something that is returning to Cleveland is The Lion King. That'll be at Playhouse Square, and that's this October. We've got all the information about that on WKYC.com. Tickets go on sale for the public Monday, June 21st. And with this, Cleveland will be the first city in North America to host The Lion King 5 separate times. Something that is not coming back to our Northeast Ohio area are the access passes for the popular rides at Cedar Point. You may remember last season, in order to get on the Steel Vengeance, the Millennium Force, the Maverick, and the Top Thrill Dragster, people had to get access passes in order to keep social distance. Well, the park is not bringing those back this season because the need is no longer there. That's what the park officials say. So, good news there. That'll be a little bit easier to get on those rides because if you didn't get that access pass in the past, you just weren't able to ride that ride. You couldn't get in the line to do it because of the social distancing. That park reopens May 14th. One more story to let you know before we go here. There is an incredible work-at-home mom. She lost 50 pounds walking 6,500 miles on a treadmill under her desk over the last year. Her name is Lisa Erickson. She's 51 years old, and she's got a TikTok account called The Walking Worker, where people follow her journey, and she says she walks between 17 and 20 miles a day. That's nearly 6,500 miles total and 13 million steps. That is a lot of steps, and she's been able to keep herself active. She said she was motivated to do this after she saw a picture on her 50th birthday. She didn't like the way that she looked, so she put a treadmill under her desk. She's got a great setup, a little standing next there. You got to check out her TikTok account. What she says that she loves is she has more followers than any of her kids, and that makes her laugh because she has 3 teenagers, and they've all blocked her from their TikTok accounts. Congratulations to you, Lisa. That's an incredible accomplishment, and just what a way to multitask, right? All right, that's it for your 3 News Now update for Monday, May 3rd. I'll see you next up on What's New with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now. Between now and then, everyone, stay safe and be well. I'm Stephanie Haney.